Okay, I'd like to call to order tonight's meeting, January 23rd, 2024. All members are present. With that said, we're going to start off with the Pledge of Allegiance. Christine, if you could start us off, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next on the agenda is student representative. Take it away.
Good evening, everyone. There are lots of great things going on at Shawsheen this month. For example, dozens of our 9th and 10th grade students were recognized at last week's Citizenship Awards ceremony, and tomorrow will be the second night of awards given to 11th and 12th graders. Winter sports are underway, and our teams are enjoying great success thus far. So far, the wrestling team is undefeated, and there's a girls' basketball game going on right now in the gym against Somerville High to benefit St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. In addition to a 10-game win streak, the boys hockey team was recognized as the Poland Spring Boys Hockey Team of the Week. Students of the month were recently recognized for the months of October, November, and December. They were Jasmine Johansson, Methuen Thaya-Paran, Nicholas Gerasimov, Addison Dunham, Morgan Gilman, and myself. The robotics team earned second place at the VEX VRC Winter Classic Tournament this past weekend. Our culinary students competed in the MRE Challenge with the U.S. Army before vacation, and on Friday, Army representatives returned to present students with awards and a plaque. DVC seniors Adriana Damiano, Gabriella Lentini, and Patrick Tassoni were chosen to showcase their artworks in UMass Lowell's 3rd annual high school exhibition last month. On January 3rd, our Skills USA team was featured on WCVB's Channel 5 Morning Wake Up Call at their induction ceremony. And finally, Friday marks the halfway mark of the school year. Thank you, and go Rams.
Mr. Chairman, I just wanted to, Sarah already echoed it. She was named Student of the Month. It's the program I chair at the Barica Elks and sponsor it. She was Student of the Month in November. So the first group of students have been named. We'll continue to name them through April. We're going to honor students from Shawsheen, Burlington High, and Barica High in May at our brunch. So Sarah, I read your resume and keep up the good work. You're doing incredible things here. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Good job.
Okay, next on the agenda is the public comment. Do we have anybody here? I don't believe so today. Next, we'll go to Skills USA Advisor, Heidi and Sharon.
I'm Heidi Lloyd. I am a graphics instructor and also the Skills USA chapter advisor. This is my partner, Karen Meister, who is the health advisor. Let me pass those out for you. So we're going to hand out to you the program of work, so you can take a look at what goes on month to month with our chapter. I'm not sure where is best for me to stand for everybody to see. So as you can see by taking a look at our calendar here, we start off and we have activities going every single month, 2 or 3 different activities. We start out in September with our homecoming, making sure that we're out there promoting all of our teams, supporting all the teams, cheering everybody on. We run around, sell Mardi Gras beads. It's all fun. October, we have our social activities every single month. Our students, our chapter officers, this year we have 19. We have a giant chapter officer team this year. It's great. The kids are just dynamite. All the way from seniors all the way down to freshmen. It's fantastic. So those kids go out, do all of our fundraising so that we have supplies to go to nationals with. They fundraise at all of the different activities that happen here at the school, parent-teacher night, homecoming, what else do we have? Open houses, you name it, we're out there fundraising. Additionally, we move on to November, and Karen is going to pass out Fall State Leadership. So Karen takes care of our chapter officers. She's in charge of that portion of it. My responsibility is to take care of all the paperwork, registering the chapter, all of that kind of behind the scenes stuff. She takes care of all the officers where we meet once a week. The kids have to take care of the business of the chapter. And we run parliamentary procedure, and I'll let Karen talk more about that. So for the one day that we go away, we leave on a Sunday morning. We drive to Marlborough, we have to be there by 9 o'clock. We don't get back here to Shawshene until, what time was I think it was 9 o'clock
9
on
o'clock.
Monday night. And the kids are busy the entire time, and they have to learn so many different things. They have to be able to recite the pledge, the motto, and you can see by looking at all of this. And do you want to talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so the kids learn a lot about communication, about leadership, about cooperation, working as a team. They also learn a lot about the Skills USA organization itself. They work with students from across the state, all the CTE schools, send students to the Fall State Leadership Conference, and they work together to accomplish a common goal. And then once they've accomplished that goal, then they present their findings to a board of judges, and the judges give them awards based upon whether or not they've met the goals of the project. So they leave there with lots of skills that they didn't have before they came. We have lots of students in the past who have come and would not say boo to you if you addressed them. And they go to this conference and they are in a comfortable and safe setting. They are forced to be outside their comfort zone, to introduce themselves and speak to people they've never met before, to present ideas in a comfortable and a safe manner, to contribute to a common goal. And they get so much out of it that when they come back, they are so enthusiastic, they can't wait to tell the other students in their class and in their shop about their experiences. We've had lots of kids who've come back from Fall State saying, I want to run for state office.
Yeah.
I want to be a state officer. After seeing not just how the state officers conducted themselves during meetings and during informal conferences, but also seeing how Skills USA works and how it builds in them a sense of leadership and camaraderie with folks, not only within their school, but within the organization of Skills USA. And they want to continue that. They want to be advocates for CTE. They learn a lot about CTE and what it means, how it's different from comprehensive high school, and they want to get that word out. So we've had several students from Shawshene be state officers in the past. And so we've got a great reputation for bringing kids back who are so enthusiastic, they want to share that.
So this year we did have 2 students that were thinking about running for state office. One student has decided to step back and focus more on his grades, but we still have one student that is going to move forward with that. Personally, the Fall State Leadership Conference is my all-time favorite conference because there's not as many kids there and it's not as high stakes. So in all of our other conferences, districts, states, nationals, you have to win a gold or silver medal to move forward. At the Fall State Leadership, if you win a medal, you win a medal. If you don't win a medal, you don't win a medal. It doesn't go anywhere from there. It's just being part of the team. The best part about that is that when they break the kids up when we first get there, they're not on a team with other Shawshene kids. They're with kids from across the state. So it's really, really fun for the kids. And they come back so enthusiastic about Skills USA. They just have such a love for the organization when they come back. It's just a really great conference. So moving past that, so as you can see by looking through this, we actually we collect toys for Tots. And this year we did 236? No, 336. I knew there was a 36 there somewhere. That would be the only number I did not put on my sheet here. My cheat sheet was the amount of toys that we collected. So we've been trying to collect and raise that number every year. And so this year we hit our high 336, which is fantastic. We have the Billerica Fire Department comes in. I don't know if you saw any of the social media pages, but our picture was up there with the kids out there putting the toys on the truck. And the kids do a great job doing that little bit of a fundraiser for students that don't have access, or families that are falling on hard times. And it's a nice thing for kids to, sometimes these kids are not, they don't understand what happens outside of their own little world. And they may be sitting next to a student whose family is actually a recipient of Toys for Tots. And we just never know that. So it's really a nice way for the kids to develop that sense of community.
And it doesn't just stop there. We've had students who have gone on to the distribution center where the Marine Corps collects all of the toys and has the orders and fills the orders. Our students are given the list of the organizations that have request donations, and they fill those orders, they put them in plastic bags, and so they actually get to see tangibly the number of people they're actually helping by promoting this effort. So I feel like that part really hits home their efforts to reach out to our community and to support our community. That makes them see the fruits of their labor and why it is that they're doing what they're doing.
It's really good organization. December, we had our chapter installation. So the kids come down. We do very much like they do for National Honor Society. The kids get up, they do the lighting of the candle. It's very nice. And we did our shout out on Channel 5, which was, I just have to say that I thought of it at the spur of the moment. I'm like, hey, while you're up there.
It took a couple of takes.
It did take a couple of takes, but we did okay.
Yeah, they did well.
Okay.
I
There was a
was
lot of
surprised.
giggling. There was a lot of giggling, but it was good. Let's see, moving on from there. So far what's happened, so we sent out approximately 20 different designs for pin and t-shirt. That is the first contest of Skills USA for the year, okay, for the school year. We have not heard back yet. They like to tell us that they pulled them in January, but there are sometimes we're not hearing until March. So we're waiting. We're kind of waiting to see if we won anything this year. We have had in the past pin medalists, so gold medal for pin design, and they go all the way to nationals. We've had several gold medals for t-shirt that go all the way to nationals. So last year we had 1 silver and 1 bronze for t-shirt, and then we had 1 silver for pin. So we're still waiting for this year. As far as our district conferences last year, we had 173 students that competed. We had 67 medals we won, 22 gold, 16 silver, and 29 bronze. For states, we had 66 medals we won. We took 66 students, excuse me. We won 30 medals, 8 gold, 15 silver, and 7 bronze. So in case you are unaware, in order to move from the district competition to the state competition, in most contests, you need to win a gold or silver medal. In the Teamworks competition, depending on how many schools compete, sometimes they'll pull the silver medalists, but the majority of it is only gold medalists. In the masonry contest, there are a lot of schools that don't compete in masonry. And so a lot of times, Shawsheen is sending all 4 students that compete. We do very well in masonry, but overall, our school as a whole, we really do well. Our name is out there big time. They hate to see us coming because we take home a lot of medals. It just kind of goes to show what a great school it is. So nationals, you have to win a gold medal at the state conference in order to make it to nationals. So last year we took 8 students to nationals. We came home with 1 gold, 1 silver, 1 bronze, a 4th place finish, and we had the team of Knowledge Bowl students who came in 6th. So the worst medal of all was that 4th place medal. That is the heartbreak medal, because you are so close to the podium, and even poor Jake is standing there going, please let me come in last. I just want to come in last. Do not let me come in 4th. And they kept announcing and announcing, and we're like, oh God. And sure enough, he came in 4th, and he was excited, but I will tell you that he was on the phone with his dad, and that weekend they poured a pad in his backyard, and he's been building. So he's practicing.
Yeah.
He's been building since last year. So he's ready to go. So, sorry, go ahead.
Just to add one more thing, that gold medal winner that we had, that's
Oh,
Cole
yes.
Kelly from HVAC. So Cole Kelly went to nationals as a sophomore and won his first gold medal as a sophomore. Last year, he went as a
junior, and he won gold medal. And as he was standing on the stage and they called his name, he went like this to our state director, signaling to her
I got
that
a
he is
phone
coming
call.
back as
Yeah.
a senior this year for a three-peat.
Yeah.
And I have absolutely no doubt, if you've ever met Cole, you will agree with me that there is no doubt that this young man not only is going to get a gold medal next year, but he is going to make a name for himself. We're going to see his name in his profession going forward because he is an outstanding young man. Please, if you ever have a chance to talk to him, please do so because you will just be blown away by some of the things that he will talk to you about. It's amazing that he's just a great kid, great kid.
I have to say that I've been going, this is my 16th year doing this. And every year since I've been going, since I've been, involved, we've gone to nationals. And I know that prior to that, we've gone to nationals a lot. And I have to tell you that so many people will say to me, I can't believe you give up a week of your summer to go and hang out with these kids. But it's the cream of the crop. These are the best kids in Massachusetts. There's no shenanigans. There's nothing. These kids go and they are so focused on what they're doing there. They are just there to win, and they have such a great time. There's no sour grapes when they don't win. It's just a phenomenal organization. It's just such a great thing for these kids to be involved in.
And we do invite you, we've had several school committee members in the past come to Skills USA to see what it's about because, we can stand here and tell you all about it and, be really excited about it, but it really does not do it justice
So
until
you
you
step
get
in that
there.
arena.
And just to let you know, Cole wins thousands of dollars worth of HVAC equipment, high caliber HVAC equipment for professional technicians. These gold, silver, and bronze medal winners win these tools and these pieces of equipment from the sponsors of the contest. And so these kids are given tools to start them off in the trade. And this isn't just like Walmart caliber tools. These are high quality tools because a lot of the vendors that provide these tools, it's an advertisement for them. And so the kids don't just get the bling. They also get scholarship money. They get tools for their trade. They get software for the school. They get scholarships for secondary education. There's so much more to Skills USA than just getting a gold, a silver, or a bronze medal. And Heidi and I appreciate all of the support that the school has given us over the years, not only in money, because we know it isn't cheap to support Skills USA, but also the support, the presence of faculty and teachers that come and support us at our contests, that give us shout outs, pat us on the back in the hallways, give us thumbs up on the days that we have districts, because on district day, it's an all school hands-on event. And we, I'm sure that Heidi will say it later on, but I just want to give you the opportunity to say, I really appreciate the support that we have gotten because that's why we can do what we do and make our students as successful as they are with our colleagues is by your support. So thank you very much.
It's the absolute truth. If we didn't have the backing, because a lot of our co-schools around the state, they don't have the same backing that we have here at Shawshene. And that's evident in the amount of kids that they're able to send to these competitions and that kids that win. They don't have the same amount of kids winning because they don't have the same amount of kids competing. So it's a whole buy-in with the school. Everybody in the school buys into Skills USA and they encourage the students to compete. And they provide us with what they need. And they make sure that the kids are not being penalized for being out of class for a day. They only do miss one day of school for the state conference, and we're typically out of school by the time nationals comes. Nationals is a whole week. We leave on Monday morning at the crack of dawn, and we return on Saturday afternoon. It's a long week. Kids really do have a great time, and they come back. They're exhausted, but they're excited, and they've typically we're coming home and we've got some medals. I don't remember a time, and I hate to say this, I don't remember a time when we haven't come back and had any medals. Probably going to jinx us now. I hope not. But we do a great job. And the teachers really, really work super hard with the kids to prepare them to go. And you know, you always hear the murmurings of this person had the test and that's why their kids got this, that, and the other thing. At the end of the day, you can have the test all you want, but the kid still has to get up there and compete, and there's pressure. And if the kid can't do the work, because that's what it is, it's doing that work, and the kids are doing the work, and that's the most important part of it. So as of right now, we have 161 students signed up for districts. We still have a few more shops I haven't heard from as of yet. We typically have a boatload of kids that go to districts. We are down in the amount of kids competing at the district conference since COVID. We don't leave the building anymore. We used to go to Greater Lowell, and that was very exciting because you sat in the bleachers. There was a lot of rah, rah, rah back and forth. A lot of fun. It's not the same anymore. We try to make it as pleasant as possible by having a social event here. The kids, we have a half day on that Thursday. The kids go down to the cafeteria. We feed them lunch. We have an opening ceremony. We run it just like a regular district conference. The kids take their test. After they're done, they go to the gymnasium and we have a social event for them. And then they are dismissed at 2:00. But it's not the same as competing against the other schools. So we are down a little bit in that, but I think that our numbers are starting to creep back up. Does anyone have any questions? I know I've thrown Karen and I have both thrown a whole lot of information at you. Yes.
So I know at the upper levels, there's like physically, Cole is building something in masonry.
Yeah.
At the district level, is there that hands-on component or is it just the test?
It is just a written test. And so the kids have to take a 50-question test in their trade. They take a 50-question test in Skills USA Knowledge, where they have to know a lot of the stuff that the leadership team has learned. And then there's a 25-question OSHA test also. So it's a big test. It's 125 questions that the kids are taking. And they have to, out of our district, we have 5 schools in our district. And they have to, move up to silver and gold in order to make it to states. So, yep.
Heidi and Karen, I've had the pleasure of working with you for many years. I can't thank you enough for the time and effort you put into this. I learned as an academic teacher what this means to the kids. And I started, we used to call it VICA. They had the-
When I was
We
here.
had a little up there in the VICA chicken they used to talk about. These are all the things I learned. So academic teacher, I'm like, what's this VICA skills all about? And like, I learned through the kids, like, this is their Super Bowl. They love this stuff.
It really is.
And it's awesome, the time and effort. It's too bad they're not doing it at Greater Lowell anymore, but the COVID pushed it. Probably never gonna come back, right?
Probably
It
not.
probably won't, and I have to say that it does make it, it's not as nice as me having all the kids together. However, it is nice because it's not a paper and pencil test, so we do get the results. We're seeing our own district, we get those results emailed to us. The thing that I don't like about it is we don't have the awards. That's the thing that's missing. We do an award ceremony here, but we do it kind of in the in the auditorium, and we call the kids out of Related to come down and get their medals. It's not like a school-wide thing. I don't even know if in March we could feasibly do an award ceremony where like the school could come and sit and watch the kids come up and get their medals. I don't know. Karen and I have talked about how would we facilitate that. And then at the state conference, hypothetically speaking, I teach graphics. And so last year I had 2 kids that competed in graphics, and they competed at the district level and they won a gold and a silver medal. And then they went, and at states, everybody that competed at the district level that is at states, they all stand on the stage and then they call the medal winners forward. So the kids that won at districts are still getting an opportunity to stand on the state stage. But it's not the same as going up and getting that medal put around your neck like they did at districts. That's the sad thing about it.
I mean, they they know, the districts, they know before they go home, the results.
Not now. They
Right
don't.
now, but in the old days, okay.
In the old
I
days, they
understand,
did.
because I think you told me that they have to wait till everything gets tabulated,
Yeah,
I
they have to
understand.
wait till everything is
But,
tabulated,
so-
but it is now all
Anyway,
automatic.
Got
They
it.
take their test, it's uploaded right to their server,
right.
and they're able to tabulate all the tests out.
Keep up the good work. You guys are awesome.
Thank you so much for
Thank
all
you.
your support. If there's any, does anybody else have any questions?
I just have a couple of things to add here. So not only is Heidi taking on all these other roles, Skills USA was actually looking for a school to host the graphics competition because of some complications around the last school that was doing that. So Heidi has actually taken the lead on Shawsheen hosting the graphics contest. So we're gonna have 36 kids from across the state here on that day to utilize our space and our shop area. So kudos to you. I mean, you're already doing a ton of stuff, and I know that's,
My spare time.
we had a few conversations back and forth about what that was gonna look like, but kudos to you. And the other thing I wanted to point out, I know when I come forward and I do reports, it's typically about districts and states and stuff. And I think it's great to hear both of them here tonight talking about the leadership aspect of this, because I think that's the piece that sometimes gets missed. And, fall state leadership and, and the state officers and the induction ceremony and all the events and stuff that you do that lead up to these other things, I think is also part of the reason why our kids are as successful as they are, because they're hearing these things, they're seeing these things, they're learning these things. So, and the last thing I'll say, again, thank you both. I know this takes, I actually did this for about 4 or 5 years. It is a ton of time and effort. And when you're on those trips, you're up until 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, and usually up about 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, trying to chase kids around the hotel. And it does take its toll on you. So
24/7 operation.
thank you
It
both.
is 24/7.
For 6 days, 24/7, we're never off. We're never off.
One other thing I'd like to add about the leadership team, the nice thing about the leadership team is myself as a student, when I came to Shawsheen, I never wanted to compete in anything. I'm not that kind of person. Being on the leadership team really helps those kids that don't want to compete but still want to be involved. Also, students that are on the leadership team can also compete. Jasmine, as a matter of fact.
Well, that's Sarah.
That's it.
Sarah, oh,
I do the same
that's
thing.
right, it's
Well,
a twin thing.
Because I have Jasmine, I know the difference.
Okay, so Sarah's sister Jasmine has been on the leadership team since she was a sophomore, and she's a senior this year, and she also competes. So you can also compete as well as being on the leadership team, which, is a lot. When we have our district, our opening ceremony, our chapter president gets up, she speaks, does her little opening ceremony or whatever, she does her speech or whatever, and then afterwards, when I get up to speak, the kids that are competing, they go run and sit down in their desks and their seats and get their computers ready because they're ready to take the test. So not only have they been there since 7 a.m. setting up, but they're now getting ready to take their tests. So it does work out twofold. And again, for those kids that just want to be involved but don't necessarily want to compete, that affords them that ability to do that. So once again, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I would say if anybody has the opportunity to go,
Man has come, yep.
yeah, because I went several years ago. It is amazing, and the stuff these kids do. It truly is amazing because it looks like, professional builders, professional plumbing, whatever it is, and you're looking at it, and these are high school kids, and it is
You walk in
amazing.
and see the fuselage to a plane
Oh, yeah.
in there, and the kids are in their building.
Right.
It's nuts. It's nuts. There's Mack
It's
trucks,
crazy.
big Mack trucks in the hall, and the kids are in there fixing them. It's crazy.
That is awesome.
So when is this thing that you guys are hosting here?
So
graphics?
the district, so that's the state competition. That will be on Friday, April 26th. So, that's a half day. And so if you're here, if you happen to be here, you can come, we'll have it will be roped off, so you won't be able to go over near the competitors, but you'll be able to stand and look just like it is at the states. That's how it is if you go to Blackstone. If you have an opportunity to go to Blackstone, you can go to Blackstone and you can watch the kids compete on that day on April 26th. And you can and they're everywhere. They're everywhere. There are
It's a busy
2,500
place. It's a
kids
busy place.
competing, just so that you're aware of how big that thing is. Nationals is 6,000 students competing. So it's big. So if anybody has any questions, please feel free to email me. I will be more than happy to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you.
No, I was just echoing what Patty said. I've been to the Louisville one years ago, and, yeah, it's quite astonishing.
It really is. Please, if any of you have the opportunity this June, we'd love to have you. We'd love to take you around and show you what it's all about.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Here.
All right, next on the agenda is the consent agenda, which everybody should have in their package, which includes the bills for the month from Howard Greenspan and Milton and McAvoy, as well as the minutes for December 19, 2023. Anybody have any questions, easy questions on that? Otherwise, I'll take a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Seconded. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous? Next is the business manager's report.
I'm sending around our year-to-date budget. This is hot off the press as of today, so we're on track. The only thing when you look at the back page where it says we've used 1,900%, that's just because of how our funding comes in and the timing. So if you ever notice, we are not over by 1,900%. It's just we don't have all of our funds yet from our districts and the state. So, but otherwise we're on track, and that's all I brought tonight because my other budget was the capital budget update. So unless you have questions on the capital budget, I'm happy to answer right now. Otherwise,
I think you did a great job, thank you.
Yeah, you did a great job down there.
okay.
Explaining all the line items and how they work.
Yes, yes.
Like that.
My technical,
Getting better and better.
better and better,
There's
thank
some
you.
more, maybe some pictures and,
Stop motion
interactive
video.
stuff. And,
Maybe next year.
Next year, you're down there, video of you changing a tire maybe.
All right.
Cutting, something, sorry, let's get our hands dirty.
We'll have you running a vertical.
I'll be running the, and the wiring.
And putting glycol,
I'm helping everywhere in this
You're
building,
everywhere.
Ron, that's
You're not afraid to
what's
get your hands
happening.
with safety glasses on, not afraid to get your hands dirty.
I do like to explain things, so it keeps some excitement. If I had the pictures, that could be
It's all
boring. You
good.
know exactly what it is.
Don't drink the glycol.
But in audit news, just so everyone knows, we're engaged with the auditor and working on the audit. I know it's a new year with a new auditor, but we have started that process, and hopefully they think as long as we get everything in end of March, early April timeline for the FY23 audit. Yep. So that is in process.
And as of today, Jenna, we still have not heard the chapter 70.
No, I haven't.
Not as of this afternoon. it
Yeah.
We're hoping this week, fingers crossed, we'll see what happens.
Should be soon, and I'm right, once I have that, I'm ready to go
Sure.
with all the estimates to present to everybody, so,
Very good check.
yeah, and we're on our timeline as well. The snow day pushed our meeting to last night, but we're still, on our timeline, I don't see any delays other than weather,
Sure.
so.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, that, we'll move on to the superintendent's report.
All right, so, this is actually kind of a short one as far as things go. Actually, I took a bunch of slides out, so hopefully we can do this in an expedient manner. Our enrollment stayed pretty steady. We were at 1289, which is down 2 students from last month. We were at 1291. There is, a little bit of change in that it's not exactly the same demographic spread out across that. We have had some kids leave and some kids come in. We have 5 freshmen scheduled to start on Monday. So we're at the midway point of the school year. It's gonna be the start of third quarter. So we're bringing in an additional 5 ninth graders to get them in and get them settled. So we are still trying to be proactive about backfilling spots that we have. And then hopefully we will revisit that again and try to bolster that grade 9 enrollment for next fall as well. Co-op update, we're up about 5 students, so we're up to 227 out of the senior class. 200 different employers employing our students. To date, the senior classes worked 70,531 hours and have earned, we already hit the $1 million mark. $1,155,207 to date. So not only are the kids out there, they're working consistently, they're getting paid well, which to me is all of the things that we want and expect out of that program. And that kind of speaks to me about the success of that program, the co-op program in general, but the success of our technical programs specifically in order to prepare the kids to be ready to go out and do those things. So, by community breakdown, so we have 5 from Bedford, 97 from Billerica, 17 from Burlington, 57 from Tewksbury, 51 from Wilmington. And like I said, 227 out of our 327 students, or about 69% of our kids are currently participating in education. Application update. When I gave the update last month, we were at 467. As of today, we were at 516. When you compare that to the number, and again, we don't have exact date matches to last year, but January 17th was the closest one we could find. January 17th of last year, we had 362. So we were up almost 150 applications over where we were at a similar point last year. We made changes to the application platform. We brought in something that we were told was more user-friendly, was more accessible. We completely retooled the presentation we were doing. We recruited and brought together a real dynamic team of staff that went out and did presentations. We've I think put our best foot forward for open houses and career nights and all these other things. We've welcomed 2 of our community middle schools in here and had their kids in the building to actually see what we do on a day-to-day basis and see our shops up and running and meet our teachers and meet our students.
Yes.
And I think they've all had really positive impacts on what we're trying to do. So I think this is great. And I hope that, we just continue to build on this as we move forward into future years. And we have, if not the similar results, maybe even better results as we move into the future.
That's
Yes,
supposed to
Wanda?
be 2024,
Yeah.
correct?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank
Yes,
you.
it is.
I looked at-
Yeah. I was changing the date and I must have missed yes,
No problem.
thank you. Yes, it should be 24. My apologies.
Okay.
And Jenna already mentioned this, but I figure we can keep revisiting the timeline. This has been shared with the town managers and all 5 of our sending communities. They all have this information. As you can see, and Jenna had brought up the point, we did have to reschedule the original joint budget and capital facilities meeting. We had a snow day that day. The decision was made not to have a meeting that night. We met last night instead of the 17th. But again, we're back on track. In a couple of items down the agenda here. The capital budget plan will be discussed and hopefully voted on and approved for FY25. We have a meeting scheduled for February 6th for the budget subcommittee to approve the operating budget. And again, we're on track there. And as Mr. Fusco had asked, we still don't have the Chapter 70 numbers yet, but hopefully we get them hopefully today or tomorrow. And then I have a meeting scheduled with the town managers on the 7th. And I'll be asking the budget subcommittee for their permission to share those draft numbers with the town managers on that date so that they have all that information and they can start to plan and have the information that they need to move forward. We have our budget public hearing advertised. It's already been posted for the 13th, which again is a little bit of a different strategy, a different approach than we've used in the past. And then on the 27th, this group will come back together and have it says public hearing on here, but it's not. It would just be the school committee vote to approve the budget. Couple of project updates. The masonry expansion project is going back out to rebid. We have to change the scope of what we had put in the original proposal. The 2 bids that we received were both way over budget. So we're working with the architect to try to change the scope of what that project's going to look like and get us within the budget amount of money that we have to spend on the project. I've been told that the pool wall repair is complete. I'll be honest, I haven't gone up on the roof to look myself, but they were on track to finish up last week. And it's my understanding that all of that installation is now complete. And it's not on time, but it did come in under the budgeted amount that we had set aside for that project last year. So
How much under the,
I'd have to look. About 40.
Yeah,
really?
1,000.
That's great.
Yeah, I think it's about 40,000.
Is it about 40?
40,000.
I can double check that, but yeah.
That's good. At least for it, better than 40,000 over.
Yeah.
Exactly, yes. And then just an update, we had a the Hanscom visit was scheduled for last Wednesday. And again, due to, most of you, I think, would remember that was the morning after the snowstorm that we got where everything was icy and glazed, and we made the decision to reschedule. We had a snow date set up, so they will actually be here on January 31st. Now, there's 32 kids in 8th grade at Hanscom, and the last time I looked, I think 9 or 10 of them had already applied here. So we already have a pretty positive response from the students at Hanscom Middle School. And again, hopefully we'll see if we get any more interest after they all come out and see the facility. And that's it. That's all I have for this. Thank you. Any questions?
Yeah, Cheryl and I were talking at dinner, and I knew that the Burlington kids came through, and now the Bedford kids have all come through, I assume.
Yeah.
All right, so going from there, have we reached out to Tewksbury at all? Cheryl, I didn't know the answer. I said, well, let's bring it up. Wilmington, and I know Bill Recker, new superintendent, maybe that's on your radar.
Yep.
But I like the idea. They're coming in here, they're looking at the place. Maybe they don't want to come here, but at least it's an option. So what's your thoughts?
An educated decision.
Yeah, so I have actually had a follow-up conversation with the new Bill Recker superintendent. And she's looking into some things and trying to figure out what that's gonna look like moving forward. I have not reached out to Tewksbury or Wilmington. At this point in time, I mean, I can, but I mean, the other dynamic around that is I think we kind of have to shift that. We've been bringing them in during the regular school day and getting them here at like 8:30 and having them leave by 11 so that we can work lunches around them. If we're gonna bring in all 5 or 6 sending middle schools, I think we're gonna have to do something a little bit different. Where maybe we do it on a PD day. Part of the PD day is dedicated to that so that we can get a bigger group of kids in and out of the building in a single day.
Rather than just one town, you're saying?
So we might
That's
bring
actually-
in multiple middle schools.
Interesting idea, yeah.
Yeah, so we've had some conversations, we've been talking about some different things. I haven't broached it with Tewksbury or Wilmington, just because, but again, if there's a connection with any of our committee members that would like to initiate that conversation, I'd be glad to be part of it, or.
I think, them opening the door last year was a really nice step in the right direction, and maybe we'll just continue on that path this year. And then maybe in the future, maybe want to come to the school. I don't know if everyone agrees.
I don't know, that opening the door opened a little too wide, I think, for Tewksbury. It opened way too wide.
Oh, wow.
We have more freshmen here.
Anybody else have anything else? If not, we'll go to the subcommittee report. We'll start with policy subcommittee, approval of section I of the policy manual.
So we met 2 weeks ago, Shop by. There's some updates to, recently, and we by MASC, so we went over some changes as well. And then, did anybody have any questions there? There's nothing huge that really stands out to me to mention, honestly.
Anybody?
Are they all dated? I was looking at them. Do they have?
They will be once
All right,
they're
okay.
accepted, they will have the
Okay,
date that
all
we accepted and reviewed. And that way, when we're looking at it, we'll have better know when it was last looked at to know.
So Christine, we're real close then, but on section
We
J.
have this
Okay,
much left
that's
of
awesome.
J, we're so
That's
close, but
Christine, I wanna tell you, what an amazing job, because
The
It's
commitment
like the
of
Bible.
the group is
It's
just,
a lot of work and it had to
I
be
think-
done, and it's done, it's done.
yeah, we have, we're working on J now. We have some departments that are looking over some specifics for us. And then we're finishing that little itty bitty bit. And we should be able to bring it forward. It won't be quite ready for February, but we should be finished for the March school committee meeting. That's my guess. So to really 3 years of working on this, the first year, commitment of some other school committee members, and then the last 2 years with the MASC and the commitment of the people who have meant so much to make this happen, so. And Tony, thank you. And Karen's time, thank you for the extra that they put in as well.
It's definitely time, but
Mo-
you'll be
Can I
happy in
motion
March.
to, what's that?
You'll be happy in March.
Oh, yes, yes.
Free up our calendars.
Yes, you wanna make a motion?
Can I make a motion to accept section I of updates for our policy manual?
Second.
Need a second, any further discussion? If not, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous? Next is the budget subcommittee. Lauren?
We met last night, it was rescheduled from last week because of the snow. And we were presented to, as a committee, as a subcommittee, Jenna presented the capital budget recommendations, went over all the detailed explanations of why certain things are in it and other things are being moved around. About what surplus, I've learned what surplus is, and also the, what's the other word, Jenna, slip my tongue.
Revolving.
Revolving. So different avenues of revenue. I learned last night that I'm very pleased, obviously, to provide, and I always tell the town, the finance committee in this town, we want our kids to have the best. And Tony said, we're probably in the cutting edge for capital projects. Some other folk schools just turn around and use Perkins, they're not gonna get much from that, so I was pleased to move forward, as we as a committee move forward her recommendations last night. Thank you.
Ryan, if you wanna go for the.
Sure, the meeting last night was a joint meeting with Facilities and Capital Planning. I would say the one additional item is that we've asked the superintendent to continue efforts he's already been making, working with some of the other Marlboro districts to look at ways that we might be able to improve our statement of interest with the MSBA. Obviously, we've experienced 2 years of frustration, but as we talked about a little bit last night, this is certainly not unique to Shawsheen. The lack of vocational projects that are advancing through the pipeline is a little bit disturbing. And as those of you that keep track of these things right now, Whittier Tech, which is the next one that actually has had some progress, but now they're having a major fight. They're looking at a possible $450 million project, which is not going over too well with particularly some of the smaller enrolled communities at that school.
They're voting tonight,
Oh, they're voting, that's right.
They're voting tonight.
Today.
not today.
So, and if Tony has been talking to some of the towns, districts that have had some luck, and there's been a mixed reporting on whether or not hiring a architectural firm or other entity consultant to spiff up the SOI is really worthwhile. We don't have funds appropriated for that right now, so the current plan is we will be submitting another SOI in April after some revisions to be made, and everybody will have a chance to see that. But I think we did realize while doing this in the context of the capital budget, we do find ourselves knowingly spending money on some things that have to be done because we don't have an end date on when a renovation or new building are online. So we are spending money on some things out of the capital budget that probably we wouldn't, but for the fact that we are, like many of the other Vogue schools, having to defer things. So That's it.
Okay, thank you. Next is the curriculum subcommittee, voting on the program of studies. Nance?
We met last week and Jess and Danica were there. And Danica went through the changes that were proposed. There's no changes in grades 9 and 10, but there are some concurrent enrollment courses proposed: physics in senior year and junior year chemistry, with prospects for English next year, and biology. Also, Spanish 3 is offered because there were over 300 students who took it online, so we are now offering Spanish 3.
Could you just go over, I had a question last week from someone in Burlington who was asking about, bless you, the language here. Could you, so it's currently online, is that how it's being taken? Do they take it? Yeah. Could you tell me a little more about?
Currently, it's online, or it's,
You want Danica
Yeah.
to answer that maybe?
Oh, I'm
This
sorry.
year's.
It's okay.
I was wondering if you were
But I'm
here.
so glad that you're here to tell us.
Danica, help us out.
Sure, so currently we do have Spanish offered in junior and senior year during the school day. Because due to our current schedule, very few students are able to take it during the school day. So if you are going into the sciences and you take a science, junior year, you're not gonna be able to take it. Junior year, if you take a science, senior year, same thing. So we've offered programs online. There is not a great online platform for Spanish. I have been working with all my academic coordinators trying to figure out a better system. We started with Edgenuity. Edgenuity assigned over 700 assignments for Spanish 1, which is a ridiculous amount of assignments. So kids were like, what is this? We need help. So we enlisted our Spanish teacher. We basically circled the wagons, told kids, you need dates extended. I called the company. We worked with them. We got through it. Now we're using a platform called Edmentum. It is okay, but part of learning a language is speaking and getting that feedback. So I either have to pay for somebody to listen to them speak and grade it, or we have to pay for a platform that can do this. In the past, we've paid for an instructor to teach Spanish at night, but the maximum enrollment for that is 30 kids. So we're getting more bang for our buck right now, but I am concerned about the fact that students aren't necessarily speaking the language and getting a lot of feedback on that. And the other piece we're finding, which is this problem is sort of universal, is students can very easily plug the information into Google Translate and then read directly from there, or use AI. And we don't really have a way of determining if that was the case. So I would say for now, it's a patch and a Band-Aid until we revise the master schedule, but we've really enlisted our world language teacher to be able to support these kids now. So I blocked off a period in his school day where part of his assignment is going in and grading some of these speaking assignments, and where he can be available for extra help for the students. If anybody has any wonderful ideas, I would love to hear them. We've been brainstorming this really significantly in the academic group, and do you have a better resource? I mean, we can send kids to NSCC, but then they're paying out of pocket. It's close to $500 or $600. So I'm hoping that this will get mitigated when we change the master schedule, and we're just sort of band-aiding it for another year or so.
So this will be readdressed next year potentially?
Yeah, absolutely. So in the budget, we did put in for continuing to use this Edmentum program. I have the room in my world language teacher's schedule to be able to still keep that in there so he can grade some of these listening assignments. But currently that will be my plan next year unless I come across something wonderful. We've gotten a lot of student feedback about it. students are indifferent. Some of them experienced the 700 assignments and then went and did these Spanish 2 with 30 assignments in part A and 30 assignments in part B. So again, it hasn't been perfect, but we're getting through it. It's one thing I wish I had a better solution to.
Well, I know you're working on it.
Thanks.
It's the important thing.
Yeah. And we're trying to get feedback from the kids and the parents, like, have you heard of anything better? Do you have any other recommendations?
Do we still do the evening Spanish? Like when my daughter was here, it was in the evening?
No, that was with a live instructor, right?
Yes, really good
Yes,
instructor.
yes.
Yeah.
Now that we have 300 kids taking it, that would mean we were paying for 10 courses throughout the year, at least. And that's with having a class size of 30. And when you're paying somebody $50 an hour to teach those courses, it's a significant cost. At that point, if we can't fit it in the master schedule, my recommendation would be that we employ somebody full-time after school instead of during the school day.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Nancy, do you have anything else you want to say?
No, I think Danica did a great job of explaining the changes to us and we moved to accept it.
Okay. Thank you. Danica, did you want anything, make any other comments on the whole packet of the program studies?
Sure. In 11th grade, we are removing some of our history electives and only leaving in world history because currently we have many electives offered in junior year and students take them, but it doesn't give them credit towards Mass Core because Mass Core requires US 1, US 2, and World. So we're trying to funnel them towards World because we only had 51 seniors last year meet Mass Core. And that's part of our accountability ratings. Although it hasn't impacted kids' ability to get into schools, it is part of our accountability rating and it's best practice to have them meet Mass Core so that their opportunities are greater once they leave Shawsheen. So world history will be offered in 11th grade. And then in senior year, we've gotten a lot of requests from students and parents to offer an honors anatomy and physiology, which will happen next year. We also are gonna pilot a 5 block 1 period class for science and math that will be a level 2 class. So in senior year now, you should be able to take math, science, history, English, and a world language. We'll see what happens with these classes. We've never offered them at this level before. Usually they're offered more at a remedial level for some student who's like on an EPP for math. And so we'll see. We'll see if it gets the kids what they need, and we'll definitely be surveying students and parents after to see what the success was of the change.
Thank you. Anybody else have any questions? If not, if we want to make a motion to vote program of studies as made, you have a second? Second. Any further discussion? Not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous? Thank you, Nancy, on that. Next on the agenda is the old business. Does anybody have anything specifically? No, we'll go right into new business, which is vote for the fiscal year 25 capital budget. Which everybody was, I think everybody's reviewed it. Jen's talked about it. I don't know if anybody else has any other questions. Take a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion. Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion. We accept the capital budget recommendations as presented by our business manager.
I second that motion.
Second, any further discussion? Not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous?
Jenna, well done. Tony.
Love the entertainment.
Good job. Excellent
That's
job.
important to me. Dinner and a show.
Why not?
Well done.
Hey, right, that's great. I like that.
He just shakes his head at me.
Oh, I'm
Tony,
sorry.
come
Was
on,
that
Tony.
your line,
Tony, come on, you gotta, Tony, you gotta smile.
I can't encourage her, 'cause it'll just get worse.
She's having fun at her job.
She is.
She loves her job.
She's having fun.
Don't turn it to an old fat.
No,
Made the presentation entertaining.
Makes it go quick.
That's how you remember, that's how you teach, right?
Okay, next on the list is the vote medication delegation for the field trip. They have that in their packet.
so this is just an annual authorization for our school nurse to sign off on this and fill out the paperwork, so that on an overnight trip, you know, a lay person, if you will, just a regular teacher without any medical training can provide medication to students. It's, as far as I know, it's something that's been done every year for forever.
Required by the state, they have.
It's required by the state.
So moved.
Second.
Second. Any further discussion? Not all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Next is the annual report.
I mean, it was in the packet.
It's in the packet.
It's more for people's reference. This is what was sent to our sending communities. Karen does a really good job of gathering this information and collecting this. And we have all the different directors and administrators within the building report on their area of responsibility. So there's information in there about special ed, there's information in there about the vocational programs, about our academic offerings. So essentially this goes out to our sending communities just to let them know what we've done over the course of the last year. Anything that we've been involved with, any community service projects, how our kids have done at Skills USA, all of those things are included in that report. So there's really no action that needs to be taken, but I don't know if there's any questions that people have, or something in there that.
It's not a question, I just want, this is usually published in the town's annual report.
Yeah, it's part of the, every town has an annual report, and this is like a section within that. At least I know Wilmington puts it in there, like.
Aaron Tewksbury does too, so I don't know about anybody else.
Easy to.
Next is the notification of disposal of surplus machinery.
So I will say the process that we've instituted is working well. And again, this is just a notification according to the policy we put in place. I think there's 4 items here. There's surplus in the metal fab program area. Some of this is stuff that's been replaced. Some of it's stuff that is just kind of outlived its useful lifespan. So again, I'm just bringing this forward to let everybody know that this will go up on Gov Deals and it'll be out there for public auction and disposal. Probably in the next few days, Ms. Lesko?
Sure will, yeah, we'll get it up there.
Okay.
We're gonna make a few bucks, right? See what happens.
Well, I know that we already really put it on there, but I'm just like, we're halfway through the year, so just like the subcommittee is just gonna go through it. I mean, obviously, we've heard from the budget, we know they've been doing their thing, they got the security, safety and security. Is there anything you need to report on that?
So Taryn and I had talked about that, and I actually shared out a resource that I had been sent, let's see, this summer, early fall, for people to look at, so that as we move forward, Taryn had talked about having a meeting later in the spring, but just to give everybody a chance to look at it, I want to say it was the School Safety Officers Council or something like that. This group had put together kind of a self-help guide, if you will, for school safety. So we're gonna take a dive into that and see if there's anything that jumps out at us.
Nothing urgent's been brought to either of our attentions.
And in the audit committee, I know you were talking about your meeting, I don't know if you guys have been, this is your feeling, you need to do, like, have a meeting.
Not yet. No.
You settled there. Curriculum, we heard from them tonight. Facilities, we've heard from them. The organizational development,
Yeah, I was gonna ask about that, what's happening with that?
Patty, and
We've been trying to get a meeting set, but it seems like all of you guys have meetings right before our meeting, so. So we're working on it.
And
Policy's still at the beginning.
the contract negotiating team really isn't much, but there might be something coming down the pike here. Personnel subcommittee, Nancy, anything?
We haven't had any grievances.
Irrelevant, nothing, no grievances, nothing that we have to worry about that you need to bring to our, let us know about?
You don't tell us, we don't
I
know.
don't have anything to tell you.
No, that's good, that's nothing, I think that's good news.
No
Yep.
news.
No news is good news.
That's something I don't know.
Next is the CPAC, Christine, anything issue with your,
I am not the chair of
oh, that's
CPAC.
right, we moved it to you.
Nothing to add.
And the Wellness Committee, back to you, Nancy,
Oh,
anything?
yeah, they're great. They really, do a lot and, it's very exciting to see how well we take care of our kids and the programs and the concerns. I look
We've had a couple of meetings already.
Yeah, I look forward, yeah, we're regular, like every few months. So it's, I'm really enjoying it. And we had a presentation that I missed, when Kevin came, right? But I would like to have some of the nurses maybe make a presentation too.
All right, and that's it for all the different subcommittees.
Mr. Chairman, did we want,
Nancy.
excuse me, Charlie, did we want to invite anybody for future meetings? I looked at my notes. We talked about the food service director.
Yeah.
Anything else, Tony, we've forgotten?
Yes,
Yeah.
food
Anybody
service,
forgotten?
for sure.
Colleen couldn't come tonight,
It's okay.
but I
It's
told
okay.
her that we would
She
have
had
her
a, she had a
on
conflict.
yeah, I told her we'd have her on.
Anybody else that you think?
Haven't been here yet.
Yeah, we've done. Yeah.
I mean, we haven't seen Jim. We haven't seen Dave. I mean.
Should we bring Jim back in?
We can, I mean, we can.
I just wonder.
I mean, I was thinking that as we get closer to freshman placement, having Dave and or Jim would kind of make sense, so they could talk about, you know, we're kind of making some adjustments to that process this year to try to make that
Yeah, sure.
move a little quicker and be a little bit more
Okay.
labor intensive, so.
Okay.
I mean, I can't think of anything off the top of my head that really jumps out, but.
We talked about the Scottsville coming in. See,
I can ask
he
him.
had a couple conflicts, but we could grab him.
Might be able to get him in the next month or two between winter and spring sports season.
Yeah, he may even be here on that night for.
Yeah.
for
So
what's
anyway.
Going on, yeah. Yeah, so I will follow up with him.
Tony, just a quick question about placement. Do you guys still send out surveys to the students to get a sense of what direction they'd like to go in? You know, I remember my kids mid-exploratory, they got a survey saying, what are you interested in so far? Just to
I
kind of
do believe Dave's been doing that, yeah.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
that Dave typically manages that and collects that information, but yeah.
Does it look like there would be any major upsets or?
Not that has been shared with me, but
Okay.
I will definitely follow up and ask that question. And see if there is something, I'm sure we can figure out a way to try to work through that.
Do we want to see Christine Tobin as Dean of Students? Trying to think of people we haven't seen.
We had Kevin Caruso in, but that would be a good idea.
Yeah, you're right, maybe Kevin covers it, so.
Kevin, I don't know. We had
I don't
Kevin- Well, what was Kevin talking about? He wasn't really talking about,
He was here for the wellness.
it was for wellness. That might be an interesting idea.
Yeah, I mean, we can do that, man. We can bring both of them and just have them do.
Yeah.
Time to do a discipline update.
Yes, great, thank you. Yeah, that's good. Thanks for the future meetings. Yeah, Charlie, great.
Yeah, no, anybody else wanting on those future agenda items? Anything else you wanna bring up?
We try to keep it entertaining, you know.
Nobody's gonna match Jenna.
Whatever.
I will let everybody know
They're on
that.
a show.
If not, the next on the item is the executive session. So I'll be looking for a motion to enter into executive session to discuss non-union contracts. The superintendent, which if discussed in open meeting would be a detrimental effort on the public body. The committee will return to public session for the sole purpose of adjournment. So we can make that motion
Motion to
as,
move into executive session.
as read a second. Okay, this will be a roll call vote. Gwen,
Yes?
Kent, Nancy,
Yes.
Ryan,
Yes.
Cheryl,
Yes.
Sarah.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
And yes, okay? So we're now in an executive session.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,